You are listening to Mr. King.
Yeah, so we had the privilege to play at the Rose Bowl versus UCLA. I don't know if you ever been there, but great stadium, great venue. The band was able to attend, had a lot of fans there, a lot of West Coast people to support us, so that was really good. Um, Game started off, we got down a couple scores, 14-0. The kids fought back, had a touchdown drive by Miles Crawley to Jeremiah Hickson, which was very exciting. Cut the lead to 14-7. Kind of went back and forth. Had a turnover here or there, gave them a short field. Down 24-7 at the half, and then they had a late score right before the half, made it 31-7. Kids came back out and played hard, competed. Had a lot of good things, a lot of things we have to work on. Final score was 45-7. Fortunately, we got out of it with not a lot of injuries and those type of things. I think everybody has a different opinion on playing those games against the FBS opponents, but I thought it was more good than bad. Just a great experience for the kids. Had a lot of guys who have those NFL aspirations who play well. Keenan Isaac, Brandon Gaddy, those type of guys who showed that they could play at that level against that level of competition. So it was really good for those guys to kind of get that on tape. And all in all, I thought it was a positive experience, even though we didn't
Off
get
the
the
field
W.
stuff.
It was pretty good. We was able to get there on Thursday. Went to the had a little beach outing on Long Beach, which was opening kickoff thing for the NFL. So I was able to watch the Bills game versus the Rams. So that was really good. Went to a Black Firefighter Museum and talked about a little bit of the history of integration of the fire department in Los Angeles. So it was a lot of things other than football. Did a little community service event with about 20 of the younger kids. Was able to travel with some freshmen who were able to get some playing time. So I think that's big just to kind of set the tone of the program. It was one thing that we used to help recruit kids over the summer, especially those transfer kids. That way we'll be on, a big platform playing UCLA. So I think it's something that you use as a positive. Unfortunately, we didn't come out on top, but I thought we competed hard. You're always trying to represent the conference, and to me, representing those coaches in the conference who didn't get a chance to play these type of games, who had the players who could have won them. So for me, I kind of remind that to the kids just to where we are in the whole big scheme of college football and the SWAC and the history of the conference. So to me, those are the type of things that are important.
Well, first of all, I'm very proud of what the guys have done over the last 2 weeks, especially week against Tulane. Very tough FBS team we played against. Open kickoff. We kicked the ball off and we get some turnover right away. Sack fumble. We got stalemate, got 3 and out. Attempted field goal, we missed it, and from there it just kind of went downhill for us. And but overall, I think the team played very, very physical. Very proud of the effort that they gave during the whole process of that weekend. So the guy was excited about playing the FBS team. Showed them we had different speed, different strength, and different things that the FBS team does. I'm very proud of their effort. Like I said, they played very hard, and proud of the coaching staff of getting them prepared for a tough Tulane team. Hats off to Gary, to Willie Fritz down there in Tulane. Does a great job that team, that program. A lot of good things, a lot of good players, a lot of speed. So really excited the way the guys played, and looking forward to this week against McNeese State.
Thank you for those comments, Coach McNair. We'll now open it for questions for Coach McNair. First question goes to Kendrick Marshall.
Hey, Coach. First 3 games in non-conference schedule are pretty tough. Top 10 team in the FCS, then you play at FBS school now. You go back to the FCS, another really good team in the state. What do you hope to learn about your teams through these first 3 non-conference games?
The toughness and the way they play, and the character of not giving up, just competing. These guys compete, and no matter who they play or where they play, these guys gonna come out and fight to the last second, go off the clock, and that's the most thing I'm proud of this group of guys and this coaching staff about. They're gonna play hard, they're gonna coach hard, and it doesn't really matter. Just the character football program that we have established here at Alcorn State. I'm very proud of them. So the biggest thing is they just got to continue to compete. And I think at the end of the day, they will be rewarded for the things they have done over the last 3 weeks coming up to this league game against McNeese State. So they're going to continue to fight. That's one thing about this program. They're fighters. So no matter who it is, they're going to continue to fight. And that's the most intriguing thing about this program, of how much fight the character these guys got.
Football.
You know, we have 4 games on our schedule that was in the state of Louisiana, you know, and this is another one that's going to be in the state of Louisiana. You know, for the Tulane game, we had a lot of fans that come out and showed us support for our program and for this university. And that's the biggest thing that we are excited about when we go on the road and where we travel. We're going to have a lot of fans that travel with us. And that's the excitement that we get as a team, to see the stands full of purple and gold, to show their faces up in different places. So we had a lot of fans down in Tulane. We'll have a lot of fans in Lake Charles this weekend. So we're excited about traveling on the road. It seems like sometimes it's a whole lot easier to travel on the road than it is to play at home, you know. So, but the kids, they love it. You know, the same scenario, you know, you love to play at home too as well. You get a chance to sleep in your own bed, but really just being on the road and seeing the fans there, and just the environment the kids experience that they get playing on the road.
You know,
Thank you,
they had a lot of explosive plays, 5 explosive plays. The difference in us and them during this game, they scored on 4 of those explosive plays. We had some explosive plays. We got ourselves in the red zone a few times. We just did not capitalize. So I think that's the biggest thing. We have to make sure that we're putting the ball in the box and we get that close. We have to come away with something. That's something that we're emphasizing big time. That's something that we're talking to our guys about every day. We have to finish what we started. We have to finish drives. And that's something that I think that they understand now. We can't take anything for granted. We can't overlook anything or feel like we've arrived because we're far from it.
In the middle of an open week.
Honestly, we started last night. And that's kind of the way we do it. We come in on Sundays. We watch our game film, we make our corrections. We go out with our players and make the corrections. Then we have a soft intro of the team. And what we'll do this week is introduce things on their offense, defense, and special teams a little slower. Take a little bit more time in dissecting the film and making sure that our guys have the fine points down. Because Grambling's a great football team. Watching them on film, you know, Coach Jackson has done a great job overhauling that roster and putting some guys in place there. So, you know, we have our work cut out for us. But I think having an open week will give us some more time to put things together and come up with great game plans to go in and you know, take advantage of this battle.
Well, obviously, you know, excited to get a win. Really needed it after 2 early season losses. Need to get some morale back, and coming back home to Bradford Memorial Stadium, great atmosphere. I thought the student section was electric the entire night, and I thought that we took on a really tough Albany State football team, the defending SWAC champs, and so knew they would come in and play hard. You know, they brought a big crowd down here with them, and it was a 4-quarter football game. You know, but our guys did enough to win. You know, we didn't play perfect football, but you know, did enough to win defensively. Thought we played really well, kind of found our identity. Hopefully we can maintain that. Special teams offensively did enough to win, but a lot of areas to improve upon. So bye week comes out a great time for us to get back to some basics, some fundamental football. We have a long 8-week stretch against some really tough opponents, starting with Alabama A&M. So definitely have to be ready to play.
Thank you for those.
One of the positives is that when we do things the right way, we show we can be pretty dynamic in all 3 phases. So for us, it's about just committing ourselves to doing that, you know, consistently as coaches, demanding that and making sure that those things are happening during the week in practice. The negatives, some of our practice habits showed up on game day. There were some guys that weren't mentally locked in. I could see it in pregame, and it showed by the way they played. But all in all, I wasn't pleased with the overall effort. You know, I didn't think we played with the level of effort and intensity that has come to be known as our brand of football. So definitely got to figure out what we need to do to get them back to playing at the high level, because you can make some mistakes, you can drop a pass, you can miss a tackle, but the effort has been at a premium And for the second week in a row, we just haven't had that mentality that we become accustomed to around here. It's the same coordinator. So we'll take most of this week to focus on us, fundamentally. And then it gives our young guys a chance to get a lot of really good reps in practice who haven't really played a whole lot. So that's really our focus as far as the football side. Play some young guys, get some guys rested up and healthy, get back to some basic fundamentals. And then as the week progresses and we get closer to Sunday, then really start to shift our focus to Alabama A&M.
INSiiGHTS now has its own Roku channel. INSiiGHTS itself is a dream maker, providing a platform for content creators. Go with INSiiGHTS Roku channel into 91 million homes. We are strengthening our programs that will continue to educate, entertain, and enlighten our viewers. We will still feature youth sports, Mick and Rick, INSiiGHTS Magazine, Remember the Legends, and much more. Stay tuned for our creative content. Appreciate it.
I've coached against him. He's a personal friend. We've spoken several times. I have nothing but the utmost respect for him as a former player, coach now. He's done a great job there at Jackson State. Obviously, they're one of the best teams in the conference. And so I have nothing but great respect and admiration for him. I didn't do that before the job. I talked to him job. There's no question about that. And he's been great. Obviously, he has a wealth of knowledge and experience. Now having done it in this conference and gave me some pointers on some things to consider and look for. And I'm just thankful to have somebody like that, him and Eddie George, that you can talk to about those things. Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think we head into this game, we're 1-1, they're 2-0. And like I said, Deion's done a great job and we're trying to do everything we can to get our program back to where it should be. So it's going to be a heck of a matchup. They have a tremendous staff, really good players. I think I have a really good staff and some good players. And it's going to be a delight, I'm sure, for all fans to want to be a part of this and see this game.
Outing versus Abilene Christian.
I'm really proud of those guys, man. As I told them at the end of the game, really proud of the way they played the game. We went into that game with a game plan offensively, defensively, and we executed a good game plan. Both sides, even special teams, for 3 quarters. Our only downfall was, we didn't win the fourth quarter. And as we always discuss, as a team, as a unit, coaching staff, we got to be able to play 4 quarters of football. And the best team is gonna that won that game is the one that played 4 quarters. I mean, they didn't do anything that different than what we planned for. It's just that we down that stretch of the fourth quarter, we just seemed like we just ran out of gas, and they took advantage of it.
It's LSU.
Oh yeah, we had a chance to go against, of course, SEC opponent. Everybody. The biggest thing is talking about the stage. I didn't think that bothered our guys. We got off to a rough start. Anytime you have the opening kickoff and you fumble it, it gives those guys a short field to cash it in. And of course, in my opinion, they was looking for some form of confidence because they didn't play their best game the game before. But the guys, they kind of weathered the storm. The score didn't dictate that. But the one thing I do know about the Jaguars, they will fight for 60 minutes. And we had some encouraging things, when you take a look at it. But we had a lot of turnovers. And, when you have turnovers, I don't care what team you're facing, you can't win that game. But the encouraging part of it, we were able to cut down on our penalties. That's one thing we wanted to make sure we did. But, to establish a running game on a SEC team to rush for over 200 yards, I thought that was a plus. So some encouraging things, some things we can build on. How do you build off a loss? You got to take those things that you got to correct and get better for the next game. You just can't let LSU beat you twice.
How much that meant to the program?
I thought it meant a great deal, for the City Jaguar Nation still there. No, we didn't have our best performance. No, it wasn't a winning performance. But for the Jaguar Nation to be there and stand tall and proud and to cheer those young men on, that just lets you know right there what type of fans that we have, that they're here. They're 100% blue and gold. And you got to love that. That's one thing that I did mention in the locker room, that those guys our fans were still there waiting for us to come on with a cheering voice. So that's very, very pleasing.
Yeah, this is a totally different Southern team than last season. So we know Coach Dooley is going to do a great job and have his guys ready to go. I think our league is about as balanced as any other league. And I think it comes down to the team that makes the fewest amount of mistakes. You know, we're playing a great team, and we want to put forth a great effort and see what happens. It's very important as far as the standings go in the West. We've already lost one West game, and for us, it would put us down 2, and we wouldn't like to be down 2. So we're trying to stay in the mix of the West championship, and so if we're going to do that, this is a game that we got to step up and play. Yeah, they're huge, you know, on both sides of the ball in the lines, and so we know they're gonna be physical. We've got our work for us, and you know, you're gonna see 2 quality teams after it and playing some really good football.
Classic, the Heritage Classic, Eddie George, unbelievable. What he's doing with that program is phenomenal. You know, he's a dear friend. You know, I love him to life. His kids fought their butts off. That's a whole different team than which we played a year ago. Defensively, we're stout. We went out there and did what we needed to do offensively. We moved the ball up and down the field, but we couldn't get it in the end zone. And that is a tribute to Coach George and some of the mistakes we made as well. The kicking game was phenomenal, superb. Shoot, we won, but we're dissatisfied because there's a certain standard, there's a certain level. So we're going to take it. We got it on the practice field Sunday, corrected some of the mistakes, allowed some of the young men that didn't play 60% of the snaps to get a lot of reps on the Sunday. And we gave them yesterday off. Now we're back in today off. I'm sorry. Now we're back in the lab getting the game plan together.
Appreciate those comments.
He's a banger. I didn't even know the kid was until a couple of weeks later in camp. And I'm like, who is this dude? You know, and banging, hitting it, not blowing any plays. Just he takes what you give him, but he has a physicalness and a mental toughness to him, and I love it. It's a different dynamic. As you know, 38 special. I love him what he brings, but we had a couple fumbles back to back, and we had 2 fumbles by the same back in 2 consecutive games. So when you have a couple fumbles back to back, any coach in their right mind is going to get them out of there. So you sit over, watch for the rest of this game, and you get to see what this thing is like. He had a phenomenal game. He got a little winded, but he's going to be ready to go. I think we only have one guy in there starting that was with the offensive line from a year ago. So this is a whole new thing. We feel like our second group, our 2s are better than our 1s were a year ago. And we got a new coordinator, of course, new thought process, new system, new scheme. And these guys are taking upon themselves to not only secure our quarterback with the passing game, but the running game. It seems like we didn't move the ball up and down the field, but I think we had over 400 yards offensively. We had over 400 yards again offensively, which is phenomenal. Our quarterback completed 30 passes, which is a lot of darn completions, and we just didn't get the ball in the end zone. First of all, I'm so pleased and excited that Coach Jackson is in the SWAC, is in HBCUs. He's a phenomenal talent. He's a phenomenal mind. This man made it to the highest darn level of football coaching in the NFL. So that's a blessing just to be on the same field. He's a dear friend. I feel as though he's a dear friend that I call and lean on at times, and he's always there for me. I'm going to always be there for him. And what he's doing with that program is going to be phenomenal. You just got to give him time to make it happen. They're going to run the football. They run the football well. They could throw the football well. I think they almost had 300 yards in passing this past week, but they ran the football really well. Defensively, they were stout this week. And they needed that victory to just get that team morale back, and that's something that he's doing. I love everything about Coach. I do. I'm not going to play against Grambling as well.
Thank you, Coach.
We're going to play Grambling when he's healthy and he's ready. We want you to see all of Travis, the offensive guy, the defensive guy, the special teams guy. We want you to see all of him. And I don't want to just ease him in game by game and you just getting bits and pieces. That's not fair to Travis and his health and his future whatsoever. First and foremost, the home game is phenomenal. At the right time, the right place, the right team, the right city. These people are resilient. I love the city of Jackson and the resilience of our people. A home game is like an escape. It's like a vacation from the necessities and the tribulations of life. So we cannot wait. We're expecting. We're praying for a packed house. We're praying that we got the parking situation handled. We're praying that we got the entrance and the situation handled and the traffic and all the foolishness that happens outside the stadium. But we're praying that we got all that together so everybody could mosey on in and have a good time. We got a formidable opponent. They were coached well by Coach Jack and by Coach Hugh. I'm excited. We're trying to put yesterday behind us with the water situation. There have been tremendous acts of charity and kindness with people sending pallets and shipments of water from all over the country. I think we have a gymnasium with one court full of water all the way down there up to the top of the building. So we have enough water for days. Trust me, we have enough water. I'm just hoping that everything is in order and structure so that we can have a wonderful game against Grambling.
The brand of football you guys are playing.
But we don't wait for the game to recruit. Shoot, we on social, we on everything, recruit every minute, every day, every hour. We constantly posting, we're constantly trying to stay in the faces of these young men. Our coaches attribute a couple hours a day to make sure they get on the recruiting trail and just contact the kids and make sure they understand that we have a desire for them here at Jackson State and also just in the HBCU period. This is a huge game for recruiting. Every game is a huge game for recruiting. You got to win. Nobody want to go nowhere and you're losing. You can recruit all you want. If you're not winning, no one wants to come and play for you unless they feel like I can go play there because everybody's sorry. You don't want that kid. Okay. We don't want that kid. We want that kid that understands that we're trying to build a dynasty, man. We're trying to build something that everybody want a part of. So you got to bring your A game to even be a part of this, to even be adorned in a Jackson State University uniform. But this is a huge understanding for recruiting for both teams this weekend.
And then
one thing that made me special was special teams. Okay, so how can I know what that meant to me in my livelihood and not that means something to this whole entire team and this university and all over the SWAC? So I addressed it 100%. We went out, the whole transition, snapper, holder, kicker. I mean, all that needed to be upgraded. Punter, every darn thing needed to be upgraded, and we did that. And my man Mata, we tell him he matters to us. He truly matters.
And then
life matters. Okay, want to do that. To have balance on your offense is phenomenal because some people are going to come in here and say, you know what, we're not going to let him throw for 300. We're going to make them run. Cool, we'll do that. We'll do that. If you blitz, we're going to tax you. So just having that balance and the understanding and the thought process of new talent and new linemen that says we can run the ball, we're gonna practice this, we're gonna perfect this, and you hear it. You see the way they take the field at practice. You see the way they take the field in the game. These guys want this thing, man. The difference is we're coaching pros now, not SWAC players. These are pros. These guys is gonna go deep. They're just not passing through the SWAC. Swiping a darn card, like it's a library card. These guys are trying to make it to the next level. They're going to go.
Greedy, one last one quickly. When you looked at the film, what did you see as the issue in the red zone?
Execution. Plays were there. Well, we dropped the pass. We fumbled. We fumbled again. I think offsides are holding. Just that kind of adolescence. We better than that. You hear every day. You see what we preach. We preach not holding the gun to our own darn head. And that's what we're doing with a full banana clip right now. We're better than that. But I'm happy that our kids are upset and they're able to come to me after the game and come to me in the conclusion of the game and say, Coach, that's on us. But we won by 2 touchdowns. And we're still not satisfied. I like that.
How important is that?
It's important. I found that out when I did a little appearance at Walmart and I went to the back and I seen how deep they were. I said, we got to be deep as a Walmart. We got to be deep as a Walmart. Because what happens is you get those big guys up front and then you rotate. anybody that's the offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, they see that stuff from up top, they're going to just hit them on the rotation. They're not deep. So it's good to have a stout four up front or whatever you call it, how many of you call it. But then they're going to tire sooner or later, especially we go tempo. So just having the depth to understand. Right now we're playing defense and we're playing at the level that we're playing without three of the starters on defense. We left 14 touchdowns in Malachi Wideman at home when we played against FAM. So just bringing this stuff in and knowing the depth. That's why practice is so darn competitive because these, they get an injury. We got a left tackle that got hurt a week and a half before the first game. Hadn't won his job back because the kid's in there now is working his butt off. So he has to go out there and practice. That's the way you earn it. When we see it in practice, we see it in the game. What we see in practice, we normally see it in the game. It ain't no button, ain't no abracadabra that you can switch it, it turns into something else. Just being able to have the depth that we have is phenomenal. And I attribute that to the coaching staff because they went out and got it. I put the onus on them. Don't sit up here during the game and tell me we don't have this and we don't have that when you had the luxury to go out there and get what you want. We don't, this guy recruits Florida, this guy recruits Georgia, this guy recruits Louisiana. We don't have a staff like that. We don't have those type of resources. Go get what you want. That's how we recruit. Go get what you want. And I close.
Look forward to speaking with you next week.
Coach.
Thank you. You know what? I'm sorry. It was one last thing I needed to say, and I need all y'all to understand this. You have a home. This is something that I need to address, and I'm glad you give me the opportunity to. We have an opportunity to the iPhone. We have an opportunity to play against these Power Five, and it's cool. I know some things you do and some things you do for money. I don't agree with that because I think that's the ultimate sign. The other phone, iPhone, the ultimate sign of selling out. I was talking about sellout in our vernacular. And I don't like that terminology. When we do something just for money, what is that called? What is that called? If I'm sitting up here, I wanted some numbers. Okay. And I'm looking at numbers that they gave me. Marshall got $1.25 million to play against Notre Dame. Appalachian State got $1.5 million to play against Texas A&M. Georgia Southern got $1.4 million to play against Nebraska. Okay, and so forth. Now let's get to us. FAMU got $450 to play against North Carolina. Southern, thank God, you got $760. I like that. Alabama State, $590 for UCLA. You probably exhausted that in the flight going all the way across the country. Bethune-Cookman, I don't even know what their payout is. We still trying to find out that. Alabama A&M, $300,000 as well to play against UAB. If we're gonna get our butt kicked, shouldn't it be worth it? How in the world are we selling for the peanuts and the little minute droppings that they're giving us when everybody's darn near $500,000-$600,000? Should we get together and huddle up as a HBCU and say we're not playing these beat down games unless we get this? Now, don't go up under it. You can negotiate above, but have the level be $750 or $1 million. Have something. Make it worth your team's while, because you're going to lose players. You're going to lose pride and dignity when we sit up here and telling you we're just as good, but you go out there and show that we're not as good. We're not nearly as good. And then you're losing 3 to 4 players because of the type of beating that you've got. Now you got to lift them and build them back up the next week to go back there and say, you could do it this week. Forget about last week, but you could do it this week. I don't understand that. I don't understand how we allow these other schools to get these type of purses to play against the same team that we're playing against. So who's negotiating this? Can we get together and form a committee or something and say, we're not doing it unless we get $1 million. Negotiate up, but don't negotiate down. And that $1 million should go directly to your football department. They out there getting their butts kicked. Not the rest of the school. They out there getting their butts kicked. They out there getting abused. They out there getting hurt. They out there getting injured. And now you want to spread it out amongst the school? I don't agree with that. If they out there playing, they should reap the benefits of the sacrifices that they're making. I just don't like when I'm seeing guys get 1.4, 1.2, 1.7, or whatever, and we getting peanuts. I don't like that. So that means we're not doing well business-wise. I just want to alarm you on that kind of stuff because that's the kind of stuff I think about. And that matters to me. That's the ultimate sellout to me. So I'd rather us get together, somebody take the lead. I'd be glad to. I'm used to being in that position and say, you know what? We're not doing it. Well, Coach Brown, it's easy for y'all to say, no, we're in the same financial situation. We're not in a better financial situation than any of the rest of everybody. We may do more. We're able to work more, and we're able to go out there and get more because we got to go get them. But when it comes to selling our kids out, I can't take it, man. It frustrates me. It angers me. It upsets me wholeheartedly. And I'm sorry for venting, but when I see that kind of stuff and I look at those stats, and it makes me mad. It really does. Because we're trying to preach that we're just as good. Then we go out there and get beat down for peanuts. Don't like it. God bless y'all. Have a wonderful day. 'Cause I am.
Appreciate your time, Coach.